treasure that's so shiny. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral dice hoarder, and my partners love me for it. I'm a natural 20 when it comes to being me. I'm a time traveler, so alongzy. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral dice hoarder, and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral dice hoarder, and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral dice hoarder. I'm proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral dice hoarder. I'm proud to be. In whatever sitch, like singing on Twitch or playing D&D. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral dice hoarder. You may call me obsessive, but I just border on being a collector and being a dragon that sits atop my treasure that's so shiny. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral dice hoarder, and my partners love me for it. I'm a natural 20 when it comes to being me. I'm a time traveler, so alongzy. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral dice hoarder, and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral dice hoarder, and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral dice hoarder. I'm proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral dice hoarder. I'm proud to be. In whatever sitch, like singing on Twitch or playing D&D. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral dice hoarder. You may call me obsessive, but I just border on being a collector and being a dragon that sits atop my treasure that's so shiny. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral dice hoarder, and my partners love me for it. I'm a natural 20 when it comes to being me. I'm a time traveler, so alongzy. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral dice hoarder, and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral dice hoarder, and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral dice hoarder. I'm proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass, asexual, polyhedral dice hoarder. I'm proud to be. In whatever sitch, like singing on Twitch or playing D&D.
Hello, Internet. Oh, ow, why am I always. Okay, there we go. I'm always just suddenly angry when we start out.
angry.
It's not my fault. I didn't mean to. It's just really sensitive to that
You're
facial
just angry
expression.
about starting, okay?
I know. I just want to get figure out what the fuck's happening. But hello everybody. Welcome back to Higurashi When They Cry. We are back on the Miyakashi, the eye-opening arc. And going through the other side of the story from Shion's perspective. As always, I am joined by David and Kayla. Thank you all.
I'm David.
I'm Kayla.
And together they are David and Kayla.
Yep.
Everything is fine. So
Sorry, I was taking a drink when you introduced us.
yeah, that's
His
fair.
name.
Hydrate before you dihydrate. So I'm gonna probably be weird
For once,
because
it's not water.
oh, okay, fair enough. That's fair. I was just about to say like tonight's gonna be interesting because I'm drinking a bang. So we're just getting through this shit.
Amber brought home this grapefruit ale, which
Ooh.
is fine so far. I don't know. We'll see how it goes down after another couple.
Okay.
Yeah. You got anything, Kayla? Or are you gonna be the only one with water?
I have Coke, okay? It's not water.
So I also have Diet Pepsi.
I mean, I can get, like, alcohol. Like, I got Coke.
Very well.
And water. I got both.
This is fine.
Alrighty.
Everything is fine.
Yeah, everything's fine, as it always is.
So I'm trying to remember exactly what happened last time. Oh yeah, fucking. Oh god.
Extremely uncomfortable last time.
Yeah. Shion got super fucking angry at Satoko. After Satoshi was mean to her as Mion. And beat the shit out of her and fighting in the classroom, and then everyone's okay with it in the end somehow.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Satoshi is about to commit murder.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
true.
think he's a little
I
bit more
mean-
occupied with other things.
Oh yeah,
He's
Satoshi.
most definitely.
Satoshi called or Satoshi talked to Shion as Mion. And
What I'm trying to figure out
huh?
is, well, not really figure out. What I'm wondering, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
would be the correct phrase here, is how no one's really suspected Shion of not being Mion, because from what I've been able to tell from, Shion's perspective, she acts very out of character from what we know about Mion.
I think we're supposed to assume that she's better, that she's actually decent at staying in character.
Yeah.
And also, I think Shion mentions at one point that, like, Mion's adjusting some based off of what she does, so that
Yeah.
they're not super out of
True.
character from each
Yeah.
other.
And we found through the other arc with her too that everyone has a really hard time telling them apart.
Yeah, that too.
Well,
And, like, what's are you gonna
maybe
jump
it's
to the
'cause we've seen,
conclusion
both
that
sides. It just seems like everybody's like an idiot not be able, because they seem so different, like the personalities and how they speak and like how they like act. I'm just like, how are people not seeing this?
right? But none of them know Shion exists.
That's true. I was like,
That's the other
Daniel!
thing.
Thank you so much for 11 months off.
That's right.
How you doing?
Flanwell to love. Flanwell
We
to
all
love,
know
Flanwell
Shion
to
exists.
Super
None of
93
them do.
popcorn,
Yeah,
Super
none of them do.
93 popcorn.
Well, doesn't
Popcorn.
Rena know by the time we were what's his face?
Rena knows by the time we get to next year that
Yeah.
Shion
Yeah,
has
next
a sister.
year.
But
Because she said she never met her, but Mion talks about her.
yeah, well, so maybe we see more of that
Yeah.
later on this arc.
Yeah, this is still
Okay.
like prequel technically to all that.
I mean, yeah. I was just very like, what is going on? But now that you reminded me that they don't know that she freaking exists,
Yeah.
that does
Yeah.
make sense now.
Also, I get mild vibes that Possessed Rena knows, but
Possessed Rena knows everything somehow.
Possessed Rena knows a lot of things, so who
That's
the fuck knows?
really good at that. Oh, damn.
Yeah,
What's the
maybe
name for
she's
that?
just exceedingly creepy. Who knows?
So let's continue. I think it ended with ending the phone call between the two, right? And like Satoshi
yeah.
telling Shion to take oh, we got to hear that conversation about Satoshi telling Shion as Mion to take Satoko to the Watanagashi
Right
so he
out.
can go commit murder
We sure did.
and also to take
The
care of her.
same way that Keiichi did in Arc 3.
Mhm.
Yep.
Phone call.
Fuck.
Yep.
Ooh.
Did you want to start with the thingamabob, or you want me to?
Why don't you start? Continue.
The day of the Watanagashi Festival.
Ooh.
F. End of story. The end.
Shit's going down.
God
tonight.
damn.
June 20th, 1982, 1:40
tonight.
p.m. Isn't that Keiichi's ceiling?
What?
Isn't that Keiichi's ceiling? Am I going crazy?
No.
He just reused some art. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. I don't know. I just totally thought this was Keiichi's
I don't think
ceiling.
it's Keiichi's ceiling, but I don't blame him for reusing some background art.
Yeah.
What
Well,
was
this
I
is an
doing
apartment.
today? No, that's true. Nothing in particular. Nothing at all. I just wanted to play hooky. Woke up in the afternoon. I ate instant food for lunch while watching boring TV programs. Is this Satoshi?
This yeah. Also,
Wait,
this
but he's
this
not
is
in
music.
An apartment.
Yeah, this is some.
I'm not hearing any music.
No.
Yeah, this is. I can hear the music. It's not a track we've heard before. I think might be Satoshi.
Hmm.
Keep going though until we know for sure.
Yeah.
I had a light headache, so I lay down. I lay down on the sofa.
This is
I
still
wanna wake up
very
again
in character
if
for
I-
for Shion to do. I think
That's true.
Went to sleep. Yes, but she doesn't have to play hooky.
that's true.
Whatever. I decided to sleep. I already told Sis that Satoshi-kun had asked her to look after Satoko.
Okay, so it is still Shion.
It is. I didn't have to do anything myself. I fell asleep, but my head was aching a little bit. That would be all I have to deal with. June 20th, 1982. 5:02 p.m. So about approximately 4 hours after she slept. Aunt believed that all the villagers frowned upon her because her brother-in-law and wife were pro-damn activists. She surely experienced some fallout during the time of the dispute, but people had stopped looking coldly upon her, even though she assumed otherwise. She was paranoid, believing that all the villagers hated her, and so she decided to hate them back. Gratitude, of course, begot hatred from the villagers, and the situation became exactly the way she thought it was from the start. What came first? Poor relations with the neighbors, or her husband's affair? She didn't know herself. Her husband claimed that he got a lover because he was fed up with her attitude. She in turn claimed that their relationships with her neighbors went sour because her husband had damaged their reputation. Only Satoshi was aware that both happened at almost the same time. The quarrels became a daily routine now. When the husband came home late, the wife would shout at him at the entrance. Satoshi wondered why they didn't get a divorce, marriage being as rotten as it was. They secretly knew the reason for that too. It was a fortune his parents had left. His aunt had hidden their bank book and stamp and never allowed her husband to access them. So her husband would search the house for them. She'd find out he stole some money from her purse. As a cause, yet another fight. So she had never been aware that his parents had that much money when they were alive. After their death, however, one of his relatives told him he was informed that his parents have left a large sum of money in some bank account. So she couldn't understand why they had that kind of money. I guess the parents had been, as far as he knew, poor. It was because of the damn project. His parents probably got the money in return for their cooperation with the government. They had strived to get more villagers on their side, provided information to them, and whatnot. Money was probably compensation for their efforts. His aunt and uncle had never had any intention to adopt them until they heard about the money. After someone from some financial institution revealed existence, they appeared to adopt Satoko Satoshi. The couple would fight every day. Eventually, Satoshi's uncle started spending more time at his mistress's home. He realized that he had no reason to return to his own home, because he'd just end up in a fight with his wife if he did. When he stopped coming home, Satoshi felt relieved. Neither the uncle nor the aunt treated the two siblings very well.
Fuck them.
You don't say.
Oh yeah.
Satoshi's aunt wouldn't have to vent her frustrations upon them. The reason the couple fought was their corrupted relationship. So if they separated, there wouldn't be any more fights.
Yeah, fucking right.
Yeah.
Satoshi had thought that at first. But even after they separated, the aunt still had a short temper. Another woman had stolen her husband. The villagers must have been talking behind her back. It was mortifying and embarrassing. So she lost an opponent to fight. Satoshi's aunt directed her hatred towards the siblings. Satoshi had been observing her. He learned when she would get upset and how to avoid her attention. He managed to get by without upsetting her, by turning a keen eye to her behavior and avoiding conflicts. But Satoko couldn't do that. She hated her aunt, and didn't even attempt to try to hide it. Satoshi told her to behave in their aunt's presence, but her eyes were always filled with hatred. Satoshi strived to reduce the conflict between them as much as possible. He stepped in to mend their relationship. It was a heavy burden for him, though, because he was still just a boy. He bore so much. He covered for his little sister by lying, maneuvering. He tried to maintain a tangible sense of peace. But he couldn't do that forever. The relationship between Satoko and her aunt had already spiraled out of control. Satoshi found something in the trash. Probably wasn't a legitimate place for trash disposal. If it was, sanitation workers would come by and pick it up. Passed by the street all the time, so he noticed when there were new things dumped there. He found a plain-looking desk, of a kind likely to be seen in offices. Somebody must have dumped it in the past few days. His aunt liked to bring usable trash home. She had Satoshi help bring a chest home just a few days ago. We told her about the desk. She wanted it. His aunt hated to find bugs and garbage in the drawers, so he'd always open them to check before carrying things into the home. Satoshi opened all the drawers, all of which were empty. After that, he turned around and walked about 5 steps. He was standing in a knee-high bush. There, he laid something he'd been carrying all this time, until today.
That was a weird sound for it.
Mm-hmm.
Sounded like a body hitting the floor.
Yeah, right.
Honest.
Let the bodies hit the floor.
Be very hard to find unless you specifically knew it was there to begin with. Looking satisfied, Satoshi looked around for some landmark to remember the place by. June 20th, 1982, 5:51 p.m.
Hey, old pal. I see you showed up again this year. You better get ready for us.
Whoa! You're as peppy as ever. Oh, she a newcomer?
Uh-huh. This is Ren Ryugu. Don't underestimate her. She's good.
No, I'm not. Nice to meet you.
Yo, you too. I've brought all kinds of prizes this year. There'll be a real battle to win. And take them with all with you if you can.
Rena tends to dote on cute stuff.
Yeah, that stuffed animal looks like just her type.
Oh, so cute! I want to take it home with me.
Hey! The booth isn't open yet! Whoa!
Stop it, Rena. He says the booth isn't open yet. You can run him into the ground once he opens it up.
Oh, it's mine! I'm taking it home. Rena lost her marbles over the stuffed animal. Everybody laughed. Everybody, except Satoko.
Oh.
She was standing by herself, some distance from the crowd. Her eyes looked dull. Meep!
Well, what is it, Rika?
Rika walked up to Satoko, smiling ear to ear in an effort to cheer her up. Forget your worries today. Let's just have fun. Satoko looked down. Even if she got to have fun today, her circumstances at home wouldn't change. Satoko, your evil aunt isn't around.
I know that.
So why don't you have fun? Yippa! Nippa! Nippa!
Oh, sorry, but I don't feel like it. Could you please leave me alone?
Why aren't you smiling? Satoko sulkily glimpsed at Rika. She gave her a look, as though she wanted to say that Rika should know the reason. Even if she could have fun today, nothing would change between her and her evil aunt. No matter how fun the festival was, when she got home, her aunt would be there. The aunt would find something wrong with Satoko, get mad and shout at her so loudly that the neighbors would hear. How should you have fun, even just for today, while knowing all that? Satoko didn't say that out loud. Her eyes betrayed her emotions to Rika. So, Satoko, if your suffering ends today, will you smile? Satoko gasped. She thought that Rika might do something to help. But soon after, she realized that Rika was just trying to comfort her. Could her suffering end today? Because of Rika? How? Satoko knew there was nothing really that Rika could do. And so, after just one moment of freedom, Satoko fell into depression again.
Rika, don't give me false hopes.
Satoko. Rika's voice was clearer than Satoko had ever heard before. It's already been decided.
Damn.
June 20th at some date and some time.
Ate something.
Satoshi just stuck out the window after supper. Heard the distant ruckus of the festival. The festival would end at 9 p.m. After the Watanigashi ceremony, they would be going to a raffle drawing. So there were two types of people in Hinamisawa. People who would go home for dinner, and the people who would stay until the raffle was over. Either relaxing at home or still at the festival. There was only two patterns. On top of that, there weren't many neighbors in the vicinity of Satoshi's house. As a result, he found nobody on the streets. That night, the small village seemed especially desolate. Satoshi knew it was going to be like this. But he would keep worrying until he saw it for himself. He was barefooted, but started running without hesitation. He felt as though he'd become a wild animal, running on his bare feet. He got the impression that he could run faster than usual. Not only his running ability, his vision, his hearing, and his sense of smell.
Satoshi had become an anamorph.
No, he's a werewolf. Come on,
Hey,
folks.
Dark Lord.
All his senses were keener, including his sixth sense. He can almost sense the presence of people in the distance. If only when crouching like an animal. It felt strange, as though he stepped into another world. And feeling tense and anxious until today, battling with his own fear. Now he felt as though he was metamorphized into a different person.
He was an anamorph. Or a metamorph magus.
He is! June 20th, 1982 at 8:37 p.m.
Alright, everyone, I'm going to explain how the raffle works. Please gather around the altar.
The festival reaches climax. The raffle is going to start. Both the women who were dancing and those who were waiting for the raffle gathered around the altar. This was the first time they've held a raffle. The planning committee decided to hold one from this year onward to attract more people to the festival. At first, the prizes were things the committee members had donated. Oryu, not appreciating how pathetic they looked, had thrown them away.
Oh, damn.
Oryu took the initiative
Damn.
and brought a brand new TV, a washing machine, a cooling fan, and other such things for the raffle. The committee wanted to keep it small initially, but it turned out big thanks to her.
Sounds about right. This
Yeah.
is in the 80s.
Yeah.
Oryu was
I mean, she's a
upset
mafia lady.
Oh, yeah.
She's
Mhm.
got the cash.
Exactly.
because the committee members weren't enthusiastic enough in her.
Mhm.
Some of the members thought it'd be very difficult to prepare prizes of equal value the following year. So this may be the very first and last raffle.
Damn. Hmm.
Thanks to you, we have such wonderful prizes this year, Oreo-san. They must have cost a lot, didn't they? We can reimburse you from our budget.
What did I do
No.
there?
I think you did.
Okay. Buffoon! No point of reimbursing that. It was never about the money, idiots.
Now, don't say that. This raffle's all thanks to you, Oreo-san.
It's not like I'm doing this all by myself. Don't be ridiculous. The Mayor Kimiyoshi was having a tough time pacifying
Well.
Oreo.
Whoopsie.
Eh.
All of a sudden, one of the committee members burst into the tent in a rush. He looked upset, so Kimiyoshi assumed that somebody had probably gotten hurt in an accident.
What's going on, Makino-san? I hope you're not having a heart attack.
Kimiyoshi made a joke to calm him down. Makino, however, still looked tense. He whispered something to Kimiyoshi. Even without hearing the exchange between Makino and Kimiyoshi, it was plain as day that there were bad news.
Oreo-san, I have unpleasant news if you don't mind.
Kimiyoshi, accompanied by Makino, moved to Oyo's side and spoke in a very serious tone. Kimiyoshi whispered to her the same exact words Makino had told him. Oh dear. This is bad.
Oh.
I don't know who this is.
Yeah, ain't unexpected. What happens thrice will happen a fourth time.
Oh, by the way.
Oh, god damn. What?
Sorry, I was thinking oh dear was an old lady. My
That
bad.
too, but also they were telling her. So I'm very confused. What the fuck?
I think they told her.
Oh yeah.
Then this is the conversation right
Okay.
after.
Gotcha. Okay.
You're right, it isn't. It's just another hassle. Oh god, the bells are ringing.
The police are trying to identify the body. I heard that the face was completely destroyed, so it'll be difficult.
It's quite clear who it is, though.
Eh? Do you know who it might be?
Oreo glared at Kimiyoshi, then started chuckling. Idiots! Must be some impudent lad who didn't come to the Watanagashi festival. People who respect Oyashida-sama won't get involved in something like that. Oreo kept laughing. Kimiyoshi and Makino didn't know how to react to that. June 20th, 1982, at some time.
9:04.
Oh, did they find the aunt's body?
That's
Did they
fast.
find her body?
So- Yeah, she was like murdered by like
She gets
God.
beaten to death, right?
Yeah.
beaten to death by a delinquent. That's what they
With a baseball
say.
bat.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Please? Kimiyoshi?
Oh, fuck.
Oh god.
This is merciless.
This is merciless.
No, I think Kuma-chan's the first one. Then it's
Yeah.
That's true.
idiot.
This is merciless.
Goma-chan. Every death is merciless unless the dead wished for it. They have my condolences. How's it going over there? You find something that could identify the body?
The forensic investigators shook their heads.
The victim's wearing sandals and casual clothes. They must be from this neighborhood. We should be able to identify the corpse basking around.
That's the way we do it. Section manager says this case might become classified. So be careful with that.
Gotcha.
Magai gathered some officers and gave them directions.
Dr. Irie has arrived. Doctor, it's over here.
He's a medical examiner?
I guess.
It's a small town.
A young doctor got out of his car, headed to the victim's direction.
Hello. I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. I'm here to help with the rifle. You must have drunk a lot at the festival, Doctor. You sure you're sober? Maybe I should run a breathalyzer test on you just to be safe. I'm fine. My assistant is driving.
It's not about driving. You have to do a fucking medical exam.
Clever of you. Hey, let the doctor pass.
There's an area cordoned off with blue plastic sheets. The officer rolled up the sheet and let Oishi and Ivan pass.
I think we have seen this background before. This is where Keiichi murdered.
Oh, yeah.
Murdered what's his face?
Yeah.
The uncle.
Mm-hmm.
The forensic people were taking photos from many different angles. Blood spatters and bloody sandals were left untouched, marked with chalk, and indicated with the small alphabetized plates.
I'm not used to seeing things like this. Oops. Damn it.
No,
Fuck.
I'm not used to seeing things like this.
Ivan took out a handkerchief and covered his nose.
You should breathe through
Yeah,
your mouth.
God damn it.
You might sense the smell visually, though. Middle-aged woman. Hey.
Look at
But
that.
appeared to be that of a middle-aged woman who was soaked in blood. It looked to be a middle-aged woman because of the hair and what she was wearing. The reason why no one could be certain of it was a middle-aged woman. It was a middle-aged woman was because its face was completely pulverized.
Oof.
Yep.
This is brutal. I'm sure it was done out of malice. The victim must have been murdered right here, judging from the pattern of the blood spatters in the soles of the sandals. And even though not many people take this road, the body is right in the middle of it. It's very unusual to see a culprit who would bludgeon their victim until their face was completely destroyed. Also, can you look at her arms?
A cab.
Acab put on his latex gloves and lifted the corpse's arm.
See? Spotless, aren't they? Are you saying that the victim didn't try to protect her head? That there are no signs of struggle? Right you are. I think the victim lost consciousness with the first blow. And the culprit kept beating to complete the murder. Victim was probably lying face down at that time, judging from the stains on her clothes. The body is face up now. You know, most of these make more sense if Ivan is saying them.
Yeah, right?
Culprit seems to have put the victim over in order to smash her face, even though by that point her death was certain.
What's the point of the doctor being here if ACAB's
I
doing
don't
all
know.
the doctor things?
It's definitely ACAB dropping all this medical knowledge. Coolio.
Mm-hmm.
Ivan looked like he was going to throw up, both because of the putrid smell and ACAB's reasoning.
Smashing in the victim's face is clearly a sign of a grudge, in my experience. It's a very profound grudge, too. That means the culprit must be somebody close to the victim. I understand you didn't call me to resuscitate her. Doctor, do you know who the victim is? If you do, I don't have to waste time questioning the neighbors.
Hmm. I mean, yeah, that's a good idea. He's probably seen everybody.
Ivan looked at the body once again. He looked away quickly and thought. Then after a while, Ivan left the investigation area without saying anything.
I'm sorry, I don't know. Ah, are you sure?
He's covering it up.
ACAB smirked and looked into Ivan's eyes, as though Ivan was hiding something.
I'm not hiding anything.
Oh, jeez.
What?
No, just the in the background.
Oh, that was the door. Sorry.
Mhm.
I guess you're still under the influence, Doctor. Maybe you'll remember when you're sober. Let me know if you do.
ACAB tapped on Ivan on the back.
At least she knows.
Oh, 100%. The doctor, saying he wanted some fresh air, while he's in the middle of the air outside, left the scene.
No, it's not that
I mean,
fresh, really.
That's true.
It probably smells like corpse.
Yeah.
Some guy returned.
Oishi-san, section manager is on the radio. The one in the first car.
Area lied.
Huh?
Nothing. Hurry up and question the neighbors. Victim must be from this area.
June 20th at 9:39 p.m.
Here he is, Oishi-san.
Thank you for coming here this late at night. I know you have school tomorrow. I'm really sorry to bother you.
Oh, fuck.
Did they just call, like, a 14-year-old boy to go identify the body?
I guess so.
Yep.
Wow.
No problem. Where's your father? My stepfather doesn't come home much.
Could just say uncle.
Uh-huh. Since when? When did he come home last? I don't know. I heard he's living with a woman who works at a club in Okinomiya or something. I don't remember exactly when, but I guess I saw him a few weeks ago. Uh-huh. Do you have your father's address? No. He's living with a woman who works at a club? Do you know the name of the place? No. I know it's in Okinomiya, and that's all.
His face.
What's your father's name? Tepe Hojo.
A-Cap signaled Kumagai with his chin, who nodded while taking notes.
Were your mother and father getting along well? I don't know much about that, but I don't think so. I see. I want you to tell me honestly. Do you know anyone who might have been holding a grudge against your stepmother? I don't. All right.
Jeez.
Please let me know if you remember something. Here's my card.
He really could have just fucking
Letter.
pinned it on the uncle and it would have been fine.
He really could have. I don't think he's thinking very clearly right now,
No,
though.
probably not. He just murdered a bitch.
Okay. I might ask to see you again for further inquiries. And if you see your stepfather, please let him know that we want to contact him. Go, Machan. Drive him home, will you? Oh, no. I can go home by myself. Please, let us drive you home. There's a possibility that the culprit who murdered your aunt is roaming around the neighborhood. You might get hurt, too.
How did I... You've been calling stepmother this entire time. How did...
I mean, technically she's both, right?
Yeah, but like...
Still.
How did he know? Huh.
It's Sanamizawa.
It's really... Yeah, it's true.
Everybody's in everybody's business.
That's true.
Like, everybody seems to know the whole scoop with, like, Satoshi's family when Keiichi's there.
That's true.
Thank you for your consideration, but really, I'm fine.
Satoshi tried to reject the offer, but A-Cap and Kumagai insisted. In the end, Satoshi was forced to accept.
A-Cap and Monokuma. There we go.
He turned around to leave. When A-Cap spoke to him as if he remembered something he'd forgotten to say.
Ojo-san. Yes? Don't worry. It's no problem. We'll catch the culprit soon. Do you have any leads? Yes, we do. Like what? That's confidential.
Ordinary people might think that A-Cap was trying to cheer the poor kid up with a joke.
Why would that... That's terrible. What the fuck? Why would you...
It's probably why that's clearly not what he's actually doing.
Well, usually people get pretty worked up when they commit murder. Oh, of course, there are some exceptions. What kind of evidence do you find when the culprit's worked up?
I just want to give him a fucking hug. Even though he just murdered a bitch. I still want to give him a hug.
Poor small boy. Small bean.
Our precious bean!
Silence. Silence.
When somebody's in a very excited condition, their body shows many symptoms, like sweat, loss of hair. Small bean silence. We often find the culprit's hair at crime scenes. Well, this is outside, so it's a bit different, but still. Did you find their hair? I don't know yet. Forensics guys are searching the scene right now. I'm anxious to see what they'll bring me. Excuse me, I have to go now. Please, Kuma-chan, would you?
Sure.
See you again soon, Hojo-san. I'll let you know if there's any progress in the investigation. Let me know when you remember something. Let's cooperate to catch the murder of your stepmother.
Way too. What the fuck? Why is he the fucking... Fuck you, ACAB. Why are you like this?
He knows.
Can
Yeah.
ACAB be the one who dies on one of these, please? Just, just thought.
Hmm.
This is called the morning after the Watanagashi festival to tell me the curse has struck again for the 4th time. The victim was the evil aunt who was harassing Satoshi-kun and Satoko. Satoshi's-kun's sacrifice would be over now. Or suffering would be over now.
Yeah.
Since the problem with Satoko and the aunt's relationship to begin with. Maybe I should have celebrated. But I was in the mood for some reason. Good?
Do the police have a lead on the suspect?
Sis went quiet when I asked that.
I don't know. ACAB seems to be questioning people in the neighborhood. He thinks the culprit is somebody close to the victim.
Being identical twins, Sis and I think very much alike. I suspected Satoshi-kun of being a murderer, so would she. Because of this, I didn't have to mention the obvious.
Does Satoshi-kun have an alibi for that day? I don't know.
I heaved a huge sigh.
Are you stupid? He was at the festival. Didn't you see him there? Yeah, right. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that.
I heaved another sigh. Sis was stupid enough to forget to make an alibi for him, even though the murder of Anne alone would be enough to raise suspicion.
So that means he did do it? That's not important now. The problem is whether he has an alibi or not. Well, the police are going to come here later. I'll tell them I was with him at the festival. Sis, lying out of the blue like that won't work. If you haven't done anything to ensure his alibi, it's too late now. Please just be honest with them. I can't trust your acting skills. You might raise more suspicion if you make something up on the spot. Yeah, sorry.
It sounded depressed. I was the one who should have been depressed. Men usually handle things well, but she's not too good with emergencies. I was left worried for the future of the Sonozaki family. Mia must have been embarrassed. She soon changed the subject.
I guess you haven't been able to work lately, have you? You're right, I haven't. Thanks to you. I'm sorry about that. I'll hide somewhere until tonight, so maybe you can work today?
Since I'd been appearing in public places during the festival preparations and whatnot. As a result, I have been able to pretend to be her. I had been able to work. As someone who had to support myself, it was a bit of pain. To be honest, I didn't feel like working. But I couldn't afford to be sitting around either.
Big mood.
When I locked my apartment door before leaving, the door of the next part over opened and Kasai appeared.
Shion-san, are you heading out? I love Kasai.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to work since this gave me time until tonight. Can you give me a ride?
Shion-san, wouldn't it be safer for you to take a few days off? The police seem to be staking out the main house. I don't think it's a good idea to leave.
I appreciate your concern, but I have to make money to survive.
I might suggest you donate money to my cause. However, I sworn to myself that when I started living here, I wouldn't be dependent on Kasai. When I don't obey everybody else's rules, I stick to my own. Kasai could tell that I was adamant in my decision. So, after repeating himself a couple of times as a formal procedure, he decided to give me a ride after all. Every time we went to my uncle's store by car, we stopped by this traffic light. I knew it was going to happen again, but it still irritated me. Pedestrians passed by in front of the car. I tried to see that one of them looked like Satoshi-kun. It was him. Though I'd spoken to him on the phone just a couple of days before, it had been a while since I saw him last.
Kasai, sorry, but could you tell my uncle that I can't come today? I'm getting off here.
What? Shion-san?
I looked taken aback, but I got out of the car regardless. Light turned green. The car behind him honked while Kasai was shouting at me, so he said it had to start moving. Joshi-kun was on his bike, but he was going really slowly. I caught up with him in a flash and tapped him on the back.
Hello. I'm surprised to see you in Okonomiya, Satoshi-kun.
I talked to him with a smile, and I smiled back. So I smiled as brightly as I could.
Mion.
He looked tired as always. I could tell he was trying to smile back. My words suddenly disappeared.
Ah! Kimchi, hey! Sup, baby?
Sub baby is born less than 3.
What's up, baby? Thank you so much. How are you doing? Oh, this is gonna be sad, isn't it?
I was certain I looked happy. I was aware of that myself, so it must have been obvious to Satoshi-kun.
Oh, fuck!
I don't know the circumstances, but you look happy.
Yeah, I am happy. I'm happy because you look happy.
When I teased him, he looked a little embarrassed.
Oh.
I just want to stop by before I go to bed. Keep streaming. Oh, thank you so much. Have a good night. I appreciate it. Get all the rest.
It was like we were back in the good old days that were like a week ago.
Yeah, right.
I felt even happier than before.
What's going on, Satoshi-kun? Did something good happen?
Not really. My aunt died, and I have to deal with the police and the neighbors.
You know, hearing that and seeing him just smiling in through the art is sort of terrifying.
A little bit, yeah.
I might have asked something dumb. He seemed to be okay with it, though. He frowned a bit at first, but Satoshi-kun continued smiling, gently. He looked worn out, but satisfied, like he accomplished something great. That was the mood I sensed from him. So, I was convinced. The one who killed the wicked aunt who tormented Satoko was him. I had absolutely no proof, but I knew it intuitively. You know, most of you don't. For my friends, I'm not the one who's going to assume they murdered somebody.
Oh no, it's fucking.
know,
We know
this is
Shion. She's
Minabe-zawa.
fucking ride or die.
Yeah.
It's true.
Shion's
Just,
ride
you
or die
know-
for Satoshi.
It's interesting that she instantly believes without any proof.
Also, she fucking like smacked Satoko around, so she ain't one to
True. So I admitted all those questions. I knew Satoshi-kun's motive for killing his aunt and how badly he was driven into a corner. I knew the environment and the situation he was in. And I knew Satoshi-kun's feelings. I knew all of that. So I admitted all those questions. I wanted to celebrate his release from that curse, so I smiled like nothing was different as I asked.
Where are you going, Satoshi-kun? To work?
That's right. I have to make a stop before that, though.
A stop?
I have to make sure it's still there. Otherwise, I'll continue feeling really anxious.
The conversation reminded me. The reason we started his part-time job was to buy Satoko a huge teddy bear. It was being sold at the toy store just down the street. Recall that teddy bear was very expensive. Satoko's birthday was right after the festival. Wasn't sure what day, though. Wait, didn't he say he quit his job? Maybe he was going to greet his ex-coworkers and clean out his locker or something? Either way, he'd be completely free soon. Maybe he hadn't been paid yet. That's why he wanted to check if they still had the pet teddy bear. Maybe he's only getting paid on Satoko's birthday. When we got near the toy store, he rushed to the display window. Relieved that it hadn't been sold yet.
Whew, thank goodness.
Oh, look at it. He's so happy.
Yeah, finally.
All right, it's still there.
You've earned enough money already, haven't you? Why don't you reserve it?
Probably hadn't thought of that. He really did need someone to look after him. I looked into the display window over his shoulder. The teddy bear wasn't that cute in my opinion. Like huge and cramped in the middle of the store's showcase. He looked a little more like a display model than an item for sale.
I don't see a price tag. Is that really for sale? How much is it?
Yeah. I'm sure they sell it.
What about the price? Does it fit your budget?
It's all right. I already checked.
Yoshikun thought I was teasing him again. He pouted and looked a little sulky.
There's no problem then. Why don't you go reserve it now? Then you won't have to feel anxious anymore.
We entered the store and looked for a clerk.
Is anybody here? Oh, wait, no. That was...
Is anybody here?
Nice. Maybe you can get it without paying.
No, Mion. Stealing is bad.
But killing is okay.
I'm just kidding. Trying to make you laugh. Do you think I'd really do that?
No, sorry.
Yoshikun smiled apologetically. I puffed off my cheeks to tease him. It really had been a while since we last did this. In between those times, many undesirable things happened that I wanted to forget. But now I felt as though all those things simply vanished into the air around us.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
She's so in love.
Mm-hmm.
I found an old person napping in the back. You must be the clerk, I thought. I looked to be fast asleep.
Excuse me. You work here, right?
Poked his shoulder, but he didn't look like he was going to wake up. When I did that, a middle-aged woman wearing an apron came in.
Grandpa, you fell asleep again. We have customers. I'm really sorry, you two. He's been very flaky, you know.
The middle-aged woman shook the old man awake and told him to get back to the living room. She went to the cash register after that.
That was so embarrassing. So how can I help you?
I'd like to reserve something. That big teddy bear in the display window.
Oh, that one? Are you sure? That one is really expensive. You know that, right?
Yes. I think I have enough.
He'll get paid really soon, so he'd like to reserve it.
The woman looked a little bit hesitant at first, but she eventually wrote down Satsuko's name and accepted the reservation. Shoshikun received a slip of paper.
See? You don't have to worry about the teddy bear anymore.
Yeah. I'll get paid soon, too. I feel relieved now.
He would have kept coming to check every day if he hadn't done this now. He would have spent his time needlessly worrying. Shoshikun looked very relieved indeed.
I should have done it sooner.
Usually people do that right away when they want something. It's very rare for somebody not to think of that.
Oh, precious bean!
Bean.
It's so very fun to tease him. Those painful days seem unbelievable now. Shoshikun looked like he'd forgotten everything that happened up until yesterday.
Anyway, thanks.
Shoshikun held out his hand to touch my head. Was he going to stroke it? I could feel my face reddening already. Even before he touched my head. Felt tingly, remembering the last time. I didn't care about the murder or whatever else happened. As long as Satoshi-kun had his freedom, everything would be alright. Be content as long as we could live happily from today onward.
Well, fuck.
Yikes. But Satoshi-kun's hand never reached my head. I slowly opened my eyes, only to realize the situation had drastically changed.
Oh no.
Oh. Oh.
Oh.
Oh no.
There were 4 men in suits blocking our way, like they had been waiting for us to exit the toy store.
Hello, hello.
The oldest of the 4 men stepped forward while smirking. Never met this man, but it looked like he knew both Mion and Satoshi-kun. He was probably a cop.
Probably a cap. You have to tell us if you're a cop. It's like a rule or something.
You're not allowed to arrest me for anything you saw me doing before I knew you were a cop.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I ran a search for information in my head and found some right away.
Good to see both of you, Ojo-san and Sonozaki-san. Sorry to bother you at a time like this.
This must be idiot number 4. I mean, ACAB. The cop who had been investigating the series of mysterious deaths. Thinks that Sonozaki family is behind all of the cases. In other words, he's an enemy of the Sonozaki family. He has deep connections with other investigation divisions and the police force. He likes to nose around in businesses in this area. He knows the Sonozaki family enough as it is by interfering with his Yakuza business, let alone his suspicions on the series of mysterious deaths. Naturally, as the family's successor, he is not a welcome figure to Mion Sonozaki. I'm trying to imagine how Sis would react.
Oh. Oshi-san. Thank you for working hard for our safety. Oh, the 4 of you want something from this toy store? A doll, maybe?
I know what they want, and it's not a toy. It's probably not me either. They want Satoshi-kun. I took a look at Satoshi-kun. He seemed a bit uncomfortable. The other 3 cops loosely surrounded us to prevent our escape.
Ojo-san, I'd like to talk to you about something.
What for? Are you taking him to the station? You don't have to go with him, Satoshi-kun. Let's get out of here.
I touched on his shoulder, but he just stood there, looking pale and bewildered. Bewildered? No, he actually looked resigned. Then I recalled Sis' mistake. It's obviously he killed his aunt from the circumstances. You don't even have to look at the crime scene. How could have Mion failed to create an alibi? That stupid Mion must have spoken to the police without making anything up at all. Must have not told him that she knew where Satoshi-kun was. If she hadn't done anything, the villagers wouldn't work to help her. It's just a matter of time until the police uncover Satoshi-kun's complete lack of alibi. Police were trying to corner him and lead him to confess. I looked at Satoshi-kun's face once again. He looked like a dead man. Probably didn't know he could refuse to be interrogated. He was taken to a station and grilled by ACAB. He confessed in a minute. Somebody had to protect him. Nobody had ever been there before for him. I had to step up now. But how? Would it be possible to alter what Mion had already told him, saying was a mistake? That wasn't going to work. If I had more time, I'd come up with an excellent idea. But I didn't have that much time at all. Brush him, the cops were drawing nearer. Satoshi-kun must have felt intimidated. Might end up turning himself in due with the pressure that while I'm stuck trying to come up with something. I have to do something now. I have to say something. Otherwise Satoshi-kun might give in. I have to save him. ACAB drew nearer. Satoshi-kun fell back.
Won't take much time. Come on, don't be scared.
It won't take much time. He just said it. He just said it would let him out if he caught him now. Satoshi-kun, don't give in. If you give in now, everything you've been working for will be ruined. Satoshi-kun looked like he was at his breaking point. ACAB was clearly aware of it. ACAB smirked and held out his arm to grab Satoshi-kun's shoulder.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, God. I felt electrified when I saw that. That hand shouldn't be allowed to touch Satoshi-kun. The moment ACAB touched his shoulder, he'd give in. He'd go to a police station and confess everything.
Do you want to know his alibi?
ACAB turned around towards me, his hand left hanging in the air.
Oh.
I wasn't very prepared for this.
What are you owing for?
I think I know what she's going to say.
Okay.
I just had to stop ACAB no matter what.
Or at least what she's going to do.
I only needed to gain some time. It didn't really matter what I said.
That's right. I want to get Hojo-san's alibi. We must not be doing our jobs. We can't seem to confirm his whereabouts at the time of the crime. It's shameful, but we decided to question him in person.
You don't have to ask him. I can confirm his alibi.
Oh, really? That helped. You already told me that you were at the festival that night, and many people can confirm it. Be easier if we could confirm that Hojo-san was with you. But I don't think you mentioned him when I questioned you last time, did you? You going to change your statement now? Even though no one at the festival saw Hojo-san, you going to tell me he was with you?
Oh, I think I know
Yep,
what you
yep.
think, Flat.
That's right. He was with me. Wouldn't that be enough?
I know you were there with your other friends that night. I saw that myself. Are you still saying that you were with him?
Bless you.
Bessie.
Isn't that a little hard to believe? Thank you. Isn't it?
ACAB approached me with a creepy smile. Oh, God. Was he teasing me because my excuse sounded funny? I didn't think so. He was frustrated due to being interrupted when he was about to catch a big fish.
He's saying that you forgot you were with him, but just now remembered you actually were. Mion Sonozaki-san.
I did get a little scared, but I couldn't stop myself. I was aware I could save Satoshi-kun if I revealed my real identity. I was aware of the risk. Grandma would probably capture me if I revealed it. I didn't think of the consequences after that.
Yep.
Yep. We were. Oh my gosh.
I'm not Mion Sonozaki. I didn't go to the Watanagashi festival in the first place.
Huh?
Satoshi-kun and I were talking in a restaurant in Okonomiya at that time. The name of the place is Angel Mort. You can confirm that with the owner if you want.
ACAB was still smirking, but he apparently felt confused.
What are you saying? If you aren't Mion, then who are you?
I'm Shion Sonozaki, Mion's twin sister. Pleasure to meet you, ACAB-san.
ACAB looked perplexed, like he didn't believe what I just said, which, you know, understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Understandable.
Yeah.
He frowned.
I didn't know Mion Sonozaki had a twin sister. You trying to fool me?
Not at all. Why don't you check my family register, or whatever? Should I call sis?
Well, the cops look bewildered now.
Shion Sonozaki-san.
Yes, that's me. Is there anything wrong?
Can you come with us? You're testifying that you were with Hojo-san that night. I'll have to talk to you too.
Sure thing. Please go easy on us.
Gathered around at the car and started discussing something. Looked like they never expected this to happen. I'll to be able to fake Satoshi-kun's alibi for at least a little while. Shouldn't be too difficult to talk to Sis about this, then forge up an alibi together.
Satoshi-kun, tell them you were chatting with me at Angel Mort that night, no matter what they ask, okay? I'll confirm your alibi. Tell them you don't remember that night too clearly, or maybe you should just keep silent.
Higurashi wore a, startled expression. Though I was telling him something important, he apparently decided not to listen.
Can you hear me, Satoshi-kun? You can't mess us up, okay?
Okay.
I must have been feeling deceived. No wonder. I just confessed that I wasn't Mion, but her twin sister. I really had been deceiving him.
Are you upset?
Why?
Because I've been fooling you.
Higurashi started to laugh. Don't know why he'd laugh, because he wasn't the type of person who would laugh in order to hide something.
I finally understand why you were weird sometimes in class. I'd been thinking it was a bit strange.
Aren't you upset that I've been fooling you?
Higurashi looked puzzled. It was like he didn't know whether he should be upset about it or not. Or maybe he was only pretending to be that way.
So, this isn't the first time we've met, is it?
Oh, well, yes, that's right.
Okay. How do you write your name?
With the characters for poetry and sound.
Shion. Huh.
Huh?
That's a beautiful name. Could you please come with us to the station? We can get you instant coffee or tea if you'd like.
Whoa!
Yikes.
Well,
She did the thing.
she did the thing.
I mean, we knew she was going to do the thing.
Yeah.
Of course.
She couldn't keep up the
Ride or
trio
die. Ride or die for Satoshi.
That's the real shit. She is ride or die for this fucking small bean.
Yep. I mean, to be fair, we all kind of are at this point.
Yeah, that's that's true.
Yeah,
But
that's, yeah.
Okay. Either Satoshi-kun was smart or very lucky. Or maybe it wasn't him. The police found nothing in the crime scene to indicate his involvement in murder. Yet Satoshi-kun was still the prime suspect. Considering his home environment, he had a strong enough motive. He had no alibi. The police did everything other than physical evidence. It wasn't surprising that ACAB took a chance. He probably didn't expect me to step in. But what I did was too little to avert a suspicion of Satoshi-kun. ACAB believed that Satoshi-kun did it. He was waiting for Satoshi-kun to fall apart and confess. That's what both ACAB and I were thinking. But that hypothesis was destroyed later on. I'll not talk about it now, but ACAB's theory will be disproven, and the police will be thrown into shock.
da-na-na.
A question comes to mind. That is, who saved Satoshi-kun? I can only think of the possibility that the Sonozaki family invented the culprit.
Okay. I'm not sure that really tells us anything besides that the Sonozaki family may have decided to help everybody out,
Yep.
but we don't even know that for sure. Okay, well,
Well,
I guess
Well, I think
It's
they may have
probably right.
intervened because of Shion is still a Sonozaki and they don't want to, besmirch the Sonozaki name.
yeah.
something like
So they made that
probably.
person that the police found, like the
Mhm.
addict or whatever it was.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. 'Cause
Yeah,
they
that
arrested
happened.
somebody else for this.
They did.
Yeah.
It's been so long.
So,
Do you want to be
Alrighty.
narrator now? Or you want me to continue?
that is up to you. I can do it if you want. But
Don't care.
well,
Do not care.
I'll take over for a bit and then
Oh,
I'll give you a break. You can also eat more now if you.
Did we get a new Chivo for this chapter?
We did. It was like the absentee gift or something like that. Look, the teddy bear.
Sweet.
Okay. The cops were smart enough to separate us during questioning. Akeb didn't come to talk to me. His aim was Satoshi-kun and nobody else. I got a young cop who just talked about ordinary things. He must have been trying to ease me into interrogation. When I realized that, the clumsy way he spoke began to frustrate me. Is Satoshi-kun all right? I didn't think Akeb really bought my testimony. He must have been trying to get Satoshi-kun to confess in spite of that. All I could do was pray that he'd keep quiet. The phone on the desk rang, and the cop picked it up. Yep. This is Kumagai. What? All right. I understand. Right away. He hung up and told me somebody had come to retrieve me. Looked like Satoshi-kun had to stay. Were they going to continue the interrogation just because he had nobody to pick him up? Although, maybe I should have been worrying more about myself. The hag had probably heard about me by now, since I revealed my real identity to the police. I couldn't hide any longer. I was going to receive some sort of punishment. I had no idea what she'd end up doing to me. The degree of punishment for a traitor is always severe in the world of the Sonozakis. The punishment must be carried out. If it's to protect the family's reputation, it's carried out no matter what. Maybe I should kiss my pinky finger while I still can.
Ooh, damn.
I asked the young cop just in case. Hey, did you know that in America, if a condemned criminal gets arrested in a state which has banned capital punishment, they'll refuse to surrender him to the state prosecuting him if that state hasn't banned it? Huh?
Nani?
Maybe it was too difficult for him. He just looked puzzled. A glossy black car was waiting for me in front of the police station. A few men from my dad's office bowed to me.
It's been a long time, Shion-san.
Where's Kasai?
Yeah.
Kasai had been helping me ever since my escape from the school. They wouldn't allow him to walk free. How's Sis doing? Does she have something to say about this?
We were only told to bring you to the main house. Please ask her when you get there.
After saying that, he escorted me into the car.
This guy's too polite for this place.
You're right. A man sat on the other side of me. Obviously, they didn't want me to escape. Thinking of Satoshi-kun, I looked back at the police station. Hold on tight, Satoshi-kun. I'll grin and bear it too. The car started off roughly. It was never a good occasion when I went to this house. Except when Mion and I were really small, oblivious of what the Sonozaki name meant for us. I'd been here only when I had to attend boring family councils. The car parked behind the house. Traders aren't allowed in through the main gate. I got out of the car. It looked like Sis would be the only person to receive me. I almost spoke to her casually, but her cold gaze froze me before I could. It's been a while, Shion. I never expected to see you other than New Year's Eve. Or New Year's. It gave me the chills to hear her greet me in that cold manner. It's a pleasure to see you again, Mion-sama. I feel overjoyed to have the chance to see you other than on New Year's. I responded, trying to sound like wise. Our leader is deeply upset. I wonder how you'll explain yourself. I have nothing to explain. I had no excuse. I'd escaped from the school solely because I couldn't stand it there. That was all. Shion, come this way. Everyone is waiting for you. Mion escorted me and the others followed. We went to the garden, not into the house. As we passed through the huge yard in the woods, I realized where she was taking me.
Oh, no.
When we were little? Yeah.
Wait. This isn't.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow.
When we were little, we were told never to go near these woods. I had a vague idea of what was in the back of them. I'd heard there was a hidden entrance to the underground torture room where they used to punish the enemies of the family. The more hideous rumors I heard about the family, the more credible these rumors seemed. Well, I wasn't completely certain about any of that. I never expected to see the torture room for myself. We came to the conclave clearing in the middle of the woods. I saw a metal door at the bottom of it. The door reminded me of a bomb shelter.
Yeah, Yeah, isn't it a converted bomb shelter?
So, this is the underground torture room, huh? I was surprised to hear my own voice. My voice was trembling. It made me realize that I was more scared than I thought. Nobody answered my question. The very air felt tense. According to the family rules, one of the twins must be eliminated. Was I finally going to be eliminated? I realized I had been underestimating my punishment. I hadn't been aware of the real terror until now. I just thought I was. Beyond the steel door, the air had an intimidating smell. This really was happening to me. I shouldn't allow myself to give in to fear. I felt like saying something rude, but my lips were dry, and my fingers were fidgeting. I was escorted through the narrow hallway and down a few sets of stairs. There I saw another huge steel door. So, this was the place. It was a spacious and utterly odd-looking room. The room had two sections that looked completely different. One side looked like a lounge. I saw several high-ranking members of the family council sitting on cushions there, looking expressionless. The other half was tiled, as if in a large public bath. That was already puzzling enough. No, it's not. And there were those things. To be honest, they had captured my attention from the moment I arrived. I noticed them even before I saw the lounge and the tiled space. I just didn't want to accept that they existed. I couldn't stand straight. I almost dropped to my knees. But I couldn't. Two young men had been holding me by the arms since I got there. There were oddly shaped things hanging from the wall. I was just refusing to recognize what they were. I knew exactly what they were called. I see. I understood that those eerily shaped objects were torture devices from hell. Oh, Oreo.
Okay. Damn fool! How dare you return?
The hag, sitting at the front of the lounge, intimidated me in a horrid voice. She kept cursing me for a little while, but she was so incensed that I could barely tell what she was saying. I knew what she was trying to say, though. The hag was willing to forgive my escape from the school, but once I revealed my identity to the police, she had to step in. Since I disobeyed the family rule, she, as a leader, was forced to punish me. Moreover, there was one thing that bothered her more than anything else. The fact that I covered for Satoshi-kun. The Hojo family had been seen as traitors to the village ever since the dam conflict. Satoshi-kun is still considered one of them. She couldn't accept that I was connected to him. To me, this was a bit unexpected. I'd escaped from the school the hag put me in. All the while, I believed that was what she was upset about. But in fact, she said that she was the most uncomfortable with my connection with Satoshi-kun. I couldn't believe this. Of course I knew what Satoshi-kun's family was prosecuted for the betrayal, but I didn't think that Satoshi-kun was also burdened with that responsibility. He has nothing to do with that. I understand that his parents were ostracized, but he shouldn't be.
The hell up.
The hag interrupted me with a shout, which made me cower in fear. She continued slandering the Hojos and said that Satoshi-kun was a cursed child. I started feeling pissed off. What did he do to deserve this? What was he being blamed for? It was too late when I realized I'd said that out loud. The hag looked furious. I'd obviously upset her. I decided to repeat myself to make it very clear how I felt. What are you saying, you old hag? Everything you've spouted is nonsense!
Huh? Who the hell do you think you're talking to?
Shut the fuck up! Let me finish!
Oh.
I shouted loudly to silence the hag. What the fuck do you know about Satoshi-kun? How could you talk to him like he's some pest when you don't know anything about him? I know how sweet he is. You don't like him because he's a Hojo? How fucking stupid is that? Is even your brain archaic or what? You hate the fact that a Sonosaki is with a Hojo that much? That's not just stupid, that's beyond stupid. Boy, I never expected to feel like Juliet. My voice became hoarse from shouting. My face was messy with tears. Even so, I didn't feel like putting a stop to my emotional explosion. I was all too aware that I was doing this just to overwhelm my fear. The hag was glaring at me while breathing heavily. I glared back at her as fiercely as I could. Eventually, I realized that her sticking point was my relationship with Satoshi-kun. She wasn't only upset that I had a mere connection with him.
I see. Looks like Mion mentioned that too.
It was as though Mion was wearing a mask. She didn't budge under my penetrating glare. Oh, okay, yeah. That was Shion saying.
Oh.
That was what the hag was really unhappy about. The fact that I was in love with Satoshi-kun. I don't give a shit about his family background or my own. Yeah, I'll admit that I'm in love with him. I love Satoshi Hojo-kun. I love him so much. Is that so wrong? Do you need a reason to love somebody? I could see the relatives shaking their heads in turmoil. Among them, I saw my mom. She must have been trying to protect me. But even she wouldn't look at me. Instead, she looked silently at the floor. Did you guys in the back hear me? Am I wrong? You know how sweet Satoshi-kun is in an instant if you bother to get to know him. How
Say
can
it
you put him
again.
down without?
Say it again for the clowns in the back, Queen.
Right? Yeah. Mion held out a hand to silence me. Then she slowly walked in my direction. That is enough, Shion. I understand what you wanted to say. Mion put her head close to mine and whispered. Shion, I know how you feel. But you can't go back after coming this far. You have to pay for what you did. What did I do? What did I do? Why me? That's ridiculous! Shion. Mion's face turned cold again, and she calmly told me. You're probably right, but this is Hinamizawa, and we are Sonozakis, and I'm sure you understand. We are the leaders of the three families, and you are the twin sister of the successor, Mion Sonozaki. Yet, I interrupted her. We haven't agreed on that matter ever since I came back. You're full of this reputation shit. Hinamizawa? The Sonozakis? So what? I don't give a fuck about... Listen! Mion interrupted me just like I did her. How many people did you depend on to start your new life in Okonomiya? Chill shot through my spine. Kasai-san is in the cell at the back. Why? Why Kasai? I knew why, of course. The moment I got caught, those who helped me were destined to meet the same fate. We were all subjected to the punishment of betrayal. Maybe my punishment would be lighter than what they'd be going through. Kasai and Uncle Yoshiro must have been treated much worse than this. Everybody who helped me was falling victim. I know that you are prepared for your punishment, but have you ever thought about the consequences that Kasai-san and Uncle Yoshiro will have to face? My head rapidly cooled down. My aggression was all used up. I should be able to bear whatever punishment they'd bring on me, but I resented the fact that I'd be putting the people who supported me at risk. Shion, apologize to Granny. If you do, the others won't have to suffer. All right? This is very Wicked right now. Or like the musical Wicked. Just say you're sorry, Elphaba. But Mion, did I really do something wrong? Was any of what I did that bad? The moment Mion learned that I wasn't willing to apologize, her expression turned cold again. She turned her back to me and returned to the lounge. I talked back to the hag in a really harsh manner. I told her that I didn't do anything wrong, yet I had involved many people to whom I owed so much. It went without saying, this was my responsibility. I was the sole person to blame, and no fault lay with them. Yes, Kasai and Yoshiro-san were blameless, just as Satoshi-kun was. But then, as if she read my mind, Mion turned around and gave a slight nod. It was possible that something was going to happen to Satoshi-kun, on top of Kasai and Uncle Yoshiro. Wait, sis! That can't happen. Satoshi-kun, I mean, nobody else should be punished. Please forgive them. What is it, Shion? Tears rolled down my cheeks. I no longer cared about my pride. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Please forgive me. I should have said what the heck wanted to hear. Yet she still looked unsatisfied. Maybe that wasn't too surprising. I had just denounced her so badly in front of the relatives. She wouldn't forgive me so easily. Just then, Mion spoke as the successor. So, Shion, how do you propose to pay for this? Pay? What do you want me to do? Nothing could be scarier than being told to pay up while standing next to horrid-looking torture devices. I was completely terrified. I couldn't move from trembling. Mion saw that and whispered to our grandmother. The hag nodded. Mion summoned some young minions and gave them an order. They removed one of the torture devices hanging on the wall, then set a table in front of me and put the device on top of it. What is this? It's a tool for removing fingernails. Do you know how to use it? No way. I shook as I stared at the tool. It looked like a giant nail clipper. You probably put the part that looks like a beak between your finger and fingernail, pulling them apart if you squeeze the handle. The chills ran up and down my spine when I imagined that. Each fingernail represents one of your responsibilities. Shion Sonozaki. No matter which ones you choose, you must remove 3 nails yourself. 3. One for Kasai, one for Uncle Yoshiro, and the last for Satoshi-kun. It was a fairly reasonable number. Will you really not punish the others? Promise me. Please let them go if I do this. This is a punishment, not a negotiation. If you don't like the procedure, I'll do it! Just give me a second. I'm doing it. I put the device to my little finger while shaking badly. If my fingernail were shorter, it would have been harder. The metal beak captured my little finger beautifully. The subordinates then stabilized my left hand with a different restraining tool. That seemed reasonable, because my finger would slip out if it weren't restrained like that. As the subordinates buckled up the leather straps, I realized that this was really happening, and there was no escape. Somewhere in my mind, I'd been thinking that they might forgive me after just the gesture alone. I shouldn't have been so naive. The emotions I'd been holding back appeared in the form of tears and kept rolling down my cheeks. It was like my feelings were being squeezed out until the very last drip. Something even more horrifying followed this. It was a silence that awaited my next action. So, what should I do now? One of the subordinates pointed it to the handle and told me to either squeeze it or hit it. He recommended that the latter would be easier, to make it quick. Nobody said anything after that. There was nothing to hear but the sound of my sweat dripping onto the floor. The onlookers were staring at me silently, waiting for me to execute my punishment. Both the hag and Mion, they were also anticipating it. I could refuse, but that meant I wouldn't be paying up. This punishment exists to offer payment in exchange for the safety of those who help me. If I refused, they would suffer. I started breathing heavily. I knew that if I did this, the others would go free. This was, if you thought about it, quite a good deal. If it weren't me, it wouldn't be just 3 fingernails. If it were Kasai, he'd have to sacrifice his little finger or something even worse. I knew that. It was my selfish desire to get away from that school. Why did Kasai have to suffer because of that? I knew that. Why did Uncle Yoshiro have to suffer just because he provided me with a job? I knew that the hag and the other relatives still hated the Hojos. So I didn't know what they'd do to Satoshi-kun if I didn't do this. Would they bring Satoshi-kun here and tell him to do the same? Would they tell him to remove his fingernails in exchange for forgiving me? He'd do it. He'd sacrifice himself with no hesitation in order to save others. My sweat dripped onto the table through my nose. I'd do it. Yes. It was only 3 fingernails. It might hurt a lot, but I wouldn't die. The fingernails would grow back. It wouldn't even leave a huge scar. I shouldn't be afraid. The punishment was minimal because it was me. If I refused to do this, the others would be punished much more severely. I couldn't let that happen to Kasai, Uncle Yoshiro, or Satoshi-kun. I was the only one who should be punished. So I just needed to bear the pain. I wasn't just breathing heavily anymore. I was also moaning faintly, ready to scream at any moment. That's right. Make it quick. This wasn't torture, so I didn't have to prolong the moment of pain. I should do it in one swift blow. That way, my pain and fear would be minimized. I raised my right arm. Quickly. The pain would be lessened if I did it in one stroke. It'd be much more painful if I messed it up. I held my breath. I felt as if my body was frozen. I was choking. The chills crept up my spine. Don't be afraid, Shion. Fingernails are just a tiny fraction of the whole body, just 1 square centimeter. I could do this. I could bear it. I smacked my right hand on the handle of the device. I sensed the noise through my body instead of through my ears. At the same time, I felt a pain I'd never experienced before. A moment later, the pain pulsated with my heartbeat. I clenched my teeth. I felt like my teeth were cracking. I tightly shut my eyes until my eyeballs got squeezed up. The pain wouldn't fade. Rather, it swelled with my blood pressure. I felt as though it was bloating like a balloon. Timidly, I opened my eyes. I found that my little finger wasn't really drenched in blood. It was bleeding, but not much. Certainly not enough to explain how much it hurt. My fingernail was open just like the hood of a car. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was overwhelming. It occurred to me that I had only done 1 out of the 3. Did I have to repeat this 2 more times? Did I have to remove the nails from my ring and middle fingers as well? I looked at the hag and at Mion begging for mercy, but they were just silently staring at me, as if the show had only just begun. I saw no hint of mercy in their eyes. They wouldn't be changing their minds. Since they said 3, it had to be 3. They wouldn't forgive me until I removed 2 more fingernails. Mion, look, isn't this enough? It really hurts, you know that? You see that in my eyes, don't you? It really hurts. Mion answered, still wearing a cold look. You can't keep going? Shion? She didn't mean that it was sufficient. What she meant is that the others would have to take the remaining punishment if I didn't. I knew that. I really did know. I'll do it! This is easy! You sadist! This doesn't scare me. This doesn't hurt. Ah! I quickly moved the metal beak and set it on my ring finger and smacked it with no hesitation. Instead of making it quick, maybe I was just rushing out of fear. I'd messed up. The torture tool had clipped just the tip of my fingernail. The pain, however, was equal. I couldn't believe I'd only chipped it. Did I have to do it again? Did I have to continue removing the nail from my ring finger? That much pain again? Again? Shion? No! I don't want to do it! I couldn't bear it anymore. I started crying shamelessly. I can't take it anymore! It's too painful! Forgive me, please! I'm sorry! I apologize! I'm sorry! I'm sorry! I'm sorry! They didn't seem to hear my voice. It felt as though there was an invisible barrier between us. They showed no mercy. They were just here to witness this ritual. So, rather than sympathetic, they looked amazed by my screw-up. Mion walked up to me and whispered to me, my crying face, Shion, There's just a bit more to go. Hang in there. No, 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 no. I can't do this. It really hurts. It really does. Mion shook her head, then signaled the subordinates. They came from behind me. They covered my head with something like a knit cap. It was a blindfold. One of them pinned me in a Nelson hold, restricting my movement. No, stop it! No! I couldn't overpower the guy behind me. Then I felt something strange on my left hand. The other guy was doing something with the torture tool. He put the metal beak between my ring finger and its fingernail. No! Mom, help me! Mom! Ah! My left hand was fixed in the restraints, so I couldn't put up much protest anyway. But even the left hand was pressed down by his rough palm until it hurt, robbing it of the freedom even to tremble. They had no hesitation. It was made very clear to me how merciless people could be. Robbed of my vision, all I could do was clench my teeth against the pain assaulting me. If there was anything I was thankful for, it was that he was well practiced and had ripped off both my fingernails cleanly. Pain and screaming might induce narcotic chemicals in the brain. While screaming, I started losing consciousness. God damn.
Damn. We really just went through that.
We
Damn.
did, yeah.
Yeah.
That was rough. Oh my god.
But you know what the most terrible part of all that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not really, but a terrible part?
Hmm.
She got through 2 of the 3.
Mhm.
Well, she got through
First
like
two
one and a
people-
half.
She got through 2 fingers. She did it. She did it twice to herself.
She did it twice. Didn't do it right
The
the second
two
time, but she did it
People
twice.
that represent those 2 fingers
Hmm.
are fine and well that we know of in the first. Or
But not
next year.
Satoshi.
But not Satoshi, the 3rd finger.
Oh. I mean, it was pretty fucking cathartic yelling at the hag like that. That was fun. But the rest,
Oh,
not
yeah.
so much.
That escalated real quick, real fast.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, because yep.
Was not expecting just the abrupt, torture.
Yeah.
We really should have expected this. It's the Sonozakis, and we've been here before.
Yeah, like, true. But I don't think we can ever really expect it, though, Flint.
That's true.
Not really.
Yeah. I woke up. My memories were missing. I couldn't remember how I got back to my room. I held my head with both hands. My left hand was bandaged. The fingers that had their nails removed had swollen like hot dogs. I paid with those 3 fingernails for what I did. The hag had said something after the punishment, but I didn't remember any of it. I was taken to a hospital in Okonomiya. The car shook on the way, adding extra pain on top of what I already felt. Somebody gave me some aspirin. They worked just like they said on TV, but they didn't last more than 10 minutes. I swallowed the pills without water. While I was spacing out in the waiting lounge, Kasai showed up. He probably came to check if I was all right. I obviously wasn't. He must have understood that from my bandaged left arm dangling from my shoulder. Kasai, on the other hand, looked just fine, at least on the outside. I was relieved that my sacrifice had meant something. Kasai didn't say anything. I couldn't tell if he wanted to tell me something or not because he looked so emotionless. Kasai.
Yes.
He paused shortly before answering. I could tell he was upset. I didn't regret revealing my true identity in order to protect Satoshi-kun, but I hadn't wanted Kasai or Uncle Yoshiro to be hurt. I had been contradicting myself. Do you know how Uncle Yoshiro is doing?
No. I'm sure he's all right because he's strong. Even so, you should apologize to him.
Okay. I wanted to ask him about Satoshi-kun too. I wondered if he was captured or harassed by the Sonozaki family because of me. But I was hesitant to ask Kasai. After all, I'd chosen Satoshi-kun over them. Was Satoshi-kun alright? I hoped he wouldn't get caught or incarcerated somewhere. I paid the hospital bill and Kasai gave me a ride home. I finally realized that somebody was knocking on my door.
Shion-san, it's not healthy to sleep so much.
It was Kasai. He put some side dishes on the table and we started nibbling at them.
How do you feel?
Depressed.
Have you been resting? Have you been eating?
I've been eating the stuff left in the fridge. Otherwise, I've been either sleeping or staring at the ceiling. It had been 3 days. I'd just been lying down since then. I woke up every now and then in my shallow sleep, but I didn't feel like getting up or thinking. I felt like I'd just been floating the whole time. My appetite was gone, but it came back with the smell of the food Kasai brought. I wasn't able to think of anything to talk to Kasai about, so I just ate silently.
I got a call from Mion-san yesterday. She was saying she called you a few times, but never got through.
The moment I heard Mion's name, I felt my wounds throb. But I didn't stop Kasai, who continued.
Because you paid up, the family decided to close the matter. You will officially withdraw from St. Lucia's and transfer to a school in Okinomiya.
They're finally acknowledging my right to make my own decisions, huh?
Indeed. They said you could live as yourself now, under a few conditions. You will stay away from Hinamizawa. You won't pretend to be Mion Sonozaki. You won't show up in public places, and so on. This means...
In exchange for acknowledging me, they don't want me to hang around.
That's correct. Of course, it is only temporary, until things cool down. There is no set duration, but I think you should stay inconspicuous at least until the end of the year.
It'd be good enough just to live in Okinomiya quietly, the way it was before. Kasai put on a sad smile. I smiled back at him likewise. Before the conversation ended, I should ask him what I wanted to know. How's Satoshi-kun doing? I wished that Kasai would assure me of his safety right away, but he didn't answer me. Didn't answer like that. Kasai, is he alright?
Shion-san.
Kasai put his chopsticks down.
The family wants you to forget about him.
What?
Shion-san, I don't want to get into an argument with you, so I will not get into the details. I'm only relaying to you what the family wants.
What are you talking about? What details, Kasai? Kasai pretended as though he didn't hear me and started eating again. I'd never seen him get so stubborn like this. The Sonozaki family had been using the Hojo family as a scapegoat. They must have concluded that a Sonozaki shouldn't be in love with a Hojo. I didn't like that. Satoko is a friend of Mion's at school. Would it be okay if Satoshi-kun and I were the same gender? Anyway, if I did something conspicuous again, they might do something to him for real. Just like they forced me to remove my own fingernails. The Sonozaki family wouldn't hesitate. They'd torture him if need be. Maybe, if I really loved him, I should stay away. Satoshi-kun won't show up in Okinomiya, unless he rejoins the Hinamizawa fighters. I'd have to pretend to be Mion if I wanted to go to Hinamizawa. But I didn't think she'd cooperate with me. Even if she did, it'd be some time down the road. Even if they told me not to see him, I already had no means of doing that again. Oh, wait. Mion gave me his number a little while ago. I could call him and maybe ask to meet with him secretly. But if I got caught again, they wouldn't cut me any slack. Should I risk it? What the hell did I even want from Satoshi-kun? Kasai, can I be alone for a moment? Kasai started putting away his food in a rush, assuming that I wanted him to leave. Oh, no, that's not what I meant. Take your time and finish your food. I just want to take a walk.
You can't lock this place up if I don't step out with you.
Kasai quickly put away his meal and followed me out. Just to be clear, I'm not going out to see Satoshi-kun, all right?
I see.
I turned around and started walking. My destination was rather pathetic. It was a toy store that sold the giant teddy bear. I couldn't deny that I was somewhat expecting Satoshi-kun to pass by there. I couldn't stop myself from looking at the faces of passerbys who resembled him. I looked into the store's window. The teddy bear was gone. Congrats, Satoshi-kun. Looks like you were able to buy it. His evil aunt had died and his wicked uncle was living with his mistress. Satoshi-kun succeeded in fulfilling his duty as a big brother by buying his little sister that huge teddy bear. There was nobody left to hurt him. He was free from his tiresome efforts. He was completely free from pain. Over time, he'd retrieve a smile, and he'd go back to being the Satoshi-kun I love. But I wouldn't be there with him. Honk. I heard a car honking. I didn't think it was honking at me at first, but it was so persistent that I had to look up. The person waving at me from their car was Ivan. He was waving at me all carefree, oblivious to my feelings.
Sonozaki-san, long time no see. Oh, are you meeting up with Hojo-san?
No, I'm not.
I know he looks into that store's windows all the time, so I assumed you were expecting him here or something.
No, I'm just passing by. Looks like he was able to buy that teddy bear. Ivan seemed to know about the teddy bear as well. He smiled upon seeing its empty display space.
Yesterday was Satoko's birthday. He must have celebrated it with that teddy bear.
He doesn't have to work so hard anymore, huh?
Indeed.
Did he turn in his resignation to the Hinamizawa fighters?
Oh, does that even exist? I never received one. Did you, Sonozaki-san?
No, I didn't.
So that means he still belongs to the team. I think he'll be back after things have settled down. But I know he'll be sad if he doesn't see you there.
Ivan teased me. He's a grown-up after all. He must have been trying to sound optimistic because he knew I was feeling a bit down.
You can come back to the team anytime you want. It might as well be empty without you. I am thinking of...
Yeah, God damn it. I burst into laughter. Everyone sure hadn't changed. Oh, I almost forgot. I can tell you my name now. Sorry, Coach. I was lying about my identity. I'm not Mion. I'm her twin sister, Shion. I've been pretending to be her for a few reasons.
Yeah, what? You're Mion-san's twin sister?
He was totally taken aback. I burst into laughter again. Yes, I am Shion Sonozaki. I'm forced to live quietly because my grandmother hates me, though.
I never realized that Mion-san had a twin sister.
Oh, God.
Same here.
Suddenly, a loud voice interrupted us. The voice sounded mean and greasy, unlike Ivan's. It was him, which is funny given the voice that you use for A cab.
Hello, Dr. Urier. Thank you for your cooperation last night. Don't mention it. I wasn't of much help.
They were just going through the motions. It was obvious that they hated each other. Ivan whispered to me.
I'm leaving now. You want to get in my car? I can drive you home.
Ivan figured out ACAP was after me, so he was giving me a chance to slip away. Looking at ACAP's face, it was clear that his focus was on me, not Ivan. He probably intended to interrogate me until my testimony broke. I was sure I could talk my way out of it, but it'd just be a waste of time. All right, Coach. Let's get going.
Oh, are you two going together somewhere together? Yes, we're on our way to get some stuff with the team. We have to drop by a few places, so will you excuse us?
Ivan bowed. I followed suit. I had to admire how good he was at lying. He's a grown-up after all. ACAP seemed to know it was a lie, but he didn't have a warrant, so he couldn't stop us. I moved to get into Ivan's car.
How are your wounds, Shion Sonozaki-san?
I gasped when I heard that. My left hand was bandaged. It was unsightly, so I kept it in my pocket. There was no way ACAP could have been able to see it. They'll heal with no problems if they don't get infected. I tore my fingernails off a couple of times myself. Oh, wait, no, that was fucking him. God damn. Fucking shit.
They don't get infected. I tore my fingernails off a couple of times myself when I was a kid. But look, they look beautiful now, don't they?
Who just tails off their fingernails
Fuck,
even when you're
yeah.
a kid?
Men's fingernails shouldn't look beautiful. That gives me the creeps. He kept scratching his head and chuckled. He's supposed to be one of the best cops at the Okonomiya PD, and he knows about all the underground activities in the region. He must have heard about my payment from somewhere. Still, that happened in the secret basement of the Sonozaki main house. I couldn't underestimate this guy's sources. Thank you for your kind words. We'll be going now. Excuse us.
Shion Sonozaki-san, why don't we get coffee together sometime?
What? Are you hitting on me?
If you like. What?
What the fuck?
No.
Japan,
no,
why?
no.
I fucking hate you. Why, Japan? Stop
No.
it. Why I'm super fucking angry do I have the happy face? Why do you get stuck now in the happy face? God damn it. Let me be angry.
No, you're forced to be happy. I'm sorry.
There we go. Fucking angry at him. God damn. Sorry. Time flies. I can't waste any of that precious time on things that don't interest me.
Oh,
Ooh, nice.
you go. Yeah.
Got me there. How about this then? You can leave any time if you get bored of talking to me. I won't stop you. How does that sound?
I don't mind you talking, but I won't talk back. I doubt you could call it a conversation.
Yeah, that'd be fine. You can just listen and I'll talk. You can just listen to an old man ramble while sipping on a cup of coffee.
He was being strangely persistent. It didn't look like he was trying to poke a hole in my statement. What would he even talk about? I got a bit curious, even though I was still skeptical. Coach, I think I'll go with the old man instead.
I mean, Shion-san.
I winked at him and told him not to worry. Ivan didn't insist. He got in his car and drove off. He kept backed his car up so I could get in. I hopped in the back seat since I didn't want to sit next to him. Are we really going to a cafe?
You could direct me to one with no connection to your family. That'd be great.
Why don't you just take me to the station then? Akeb carefully checked for oncoming traffic and then started driving. Akeb took me to the police station, as I thought he might. If he had taken me to a nice cafe, he would have scored some points. But whatever.
Thought it'd be more convenient if we came here. You can still go home if you get bored.
Try your best not to bore me then. Do you want me to go to the station hand in hand with you? Akeb chuckled and got out of the car. He escorted me inside the station. I thought he'd take me to an interrogation room, but instead he took me into an office of the investigation division. Officers in both suits and uniforms were working at their desks, answering phones. There was a desk with a plate that said section manager, and nearby there were couches and a table. Akeb told me to sit down on the couch and started making some instant coffee. I'd never been to this part of the police station. I looked around in curiosity.
Did you think I'd take you to an interrogation room?
Akeb brought over a tray with coffee cups on it. You're treating me better than I expected. I thought you'd whip me up, or you'd whip me or something.
My tastes don't run that way.
So, I thought you wanted to talk.
Alright, I'll cut to the chase. Are you in love with Satoshi Hojo-san?
What? It's getting boring already. I'm going home.
Alright, please forget that.
Akeb must have known why I had to remove my fingernails. He wasn't trying to confirm that I liked Satoshi-kun. What he was really saying was that he knew already. I already talked to Detective Kumagai about Satoshi-kun's alibi that day.
Of course, I read Kumagai-kun's report. I know you were with him.
I'll just repeat the same statement no matter how many times you ask. Don't think you can poke holes in it.
No, that's not what I meant. You're a smart person. I know that wouldn't work for you.
I wonder what you're after. You're wasting your time if you want information on Satoshi-kun. There's nothing more to talk about. Oh, this is boring me after all. I'm going home, since that was our agreement. Excuse me. I got up off the couch.
Fion-san, I did want to get Satoshi-san's alibi from you. I admit it.
And that's it then. It's boring. I'm going home. I turned around and started walking. Akeb didn't get anxious, but instead spoke a little louder.
But Shion-san, what I want to ask you about is his alibi for yesterday, not the day of the murder.
His alibi for yesterday? Why? What does that have to do with his aunt's death?
It's because Satoshi-kun has been missing since then.
What?
Didn't you know that he went missing?
I couldn't say anything, but my expression answered Akeb's question anyway. What's going on? Missing? What?
Why don't you take a seat?
What do you mean Satoshi-kun has gone missing? What the hell?
We only know one thing for sure. He withdrew all of his savings at an ATM in the Okinomiya post office before 3 p.m. yesterday. We don't know his whereabouts after that.
I knew why he withdrew that money. He wanted to buy Satoko's birthday present. Yes, he definitely bought that teddy bear yesterday.
This is just my guess, but I think he skipped town with that money.
You mean he used the money to run away? That's stupid. He was saving to buy Satoko a birthday present. He bought a big expensive teddy bear from that toy store. He'd never use that money to skip town.
Yes, the most expensive teddy bear in that toy store was sold. Well, he can't confirm that it was Satoshi who bought it.
Why don't you ask the clerk? Satoshi-kun and I reserved that teddy bear together. Oh. I had a bad feeling. That old man who was watching that store was sleeping when we were there. He looked very senile. Maybe he was also watching that store on the day, and even though Satoshi-kun bought the teddy bear, he didn't remember. Ika put on a wry smile. It looked like he'd already tried to question that old man. Anyway, it's Satoshi-kun who bought that teddy bear. He must have saved just enough to buy it, so he shouldn't have been able to run away after. That's nonsense.
Alright. Let's say he really did buy the teddy bear, then why didn't he come home with it?
At that point, I felt as though my heart had turned to ice. Satoshi-kun had been working hard to buy that teddy bear, even though he was under extreme mental and physical stress. After all that, he finally managed to buy it. It's unthinkable that somebody else just showed up and bought the same teddy bear. The teddy bear was gone because Satoshi-kun bought it. Nobody else! But if so, Satoshi-kun should have given it to Satoko. But though he bought a present for her, he didn't come home. He didn't come home? That wasn't possible. He would have gone straight home with that teddy bear. He wouldn't think of running away after buying the teddy bear, even though Satoshi-kun wanted to run away from the police. He'd never leave without giving Satoko a present. Anyway, it must have been Satoshi-kun who bought that teddy bear. I can say that with 100% certainty. The question was, why didn't he bring it home? That teddy bear was huge. It wouldn't fit in the basket of a bicycle. He might have brought some straps to tie it on his bike. He wouldn't have thought of running away on a wobbly bicycle like that. He necessarily had to go home after buying the teddy bear from the store after withdrawing the money. Nothing could have happened while he was going between the ATM and the toy store. It was impossible. Nobody else could have bought that teddy bear. Never! That teddy bear had been sitting in the showcase up until that day. Everybody could see it when they passed by. But nobody wanted it. It's impossible that it could have been somebody else. There should be no question that he went to the toy store after he withdrew the money. What about the route between the toy store and his home? There shouldn't be any question there either. He shouldn't have been able to do anything with that huge toy. He shouldn't even have thought of making a stop on the way. So he must have headed home right after he bought the teddy bear. But nobody saw him after that. It was simple then. Satoshi-kun went missing on the way home from the toy store. He went missing? What did that mean? I was sure he killed his aunt. He's not that shrewd. Maybe he couldn't bear the pressure from the police? Was he resigned to the idea that the police were going to arrest him soon regardless of my help? Did he decide to run away? Did he think that he should disappear until things cooled down rather than get arrested? That was definitely, absolutely impossible. It was impossible that he came to that conclusion on his way home from the toy store. Even if he did, he would have waited until he gave Satoko a birthday present. Satoshi-kun loved Satoko. He shouldn't have spoiled her like that, but anyway, he always tried to be a good brother to her. So he'd never disappear before going home. I felt as though the ice was cutting through my heart, expanding the frost. If Satoshi-kun didn't disappear by his own will, the answer was simple. Satoshi-kun disappeared by somebody else's will. Was Satoshi-kun eliminated? That's really stupid, old man. I thought I could shake off the frost in my heart if I laughed loudly enough. I kept laughing until it happened. I kept laughing and laughing. All the cops in the room stared at me. They thought I'd gone crazy. I didn't care what they thought. I kept laughing until it turned into a cough. I finished laughing and took a sip of lukewarm coffee. I felt as though the frost in my heart had spread throughout my guts. I was chilled to the bone. I was freezing. My fingers shook as I held the coffee cup.
Shion-san, please listen to me without interrupting. What I'm about to tell you is only a hypothesis. It's all just a theory. You might start laughing in the middle, because it may sound ridiculous. But I want you to hear me out.
Whatever. Just talk. I was feeling far too cold. My teeth were chattering. Shakayla, can you take over narration? I feel like, well, why do we always flip this over the wrong way?
I don't
We
know.
always do.
We always do
We
this.
always do. Oh, so basically, only I get to speak, or only you get to speak. We never.
Yeah,
both
it's how
get to
that works.
I felt as though my brain is frozen as well. Lost my ability to think. I couldn't do anything by myself. I could only do as ACAP told me. He was going to tell me it might be the worst possible theory. But I had to listen to it.
I know that Satoshi and Satoko's aunt was abusing them, especially Satoko. In my opinion, it's normal that Satoshi started thinking about murdering his aunt, because he was just a human being.
I had to deny Satoshi couldn't murder her. But what ACAP was saying was true. I couldn't die his hypothesis right away. I just kept silent.
This is only a hypothesis, alright? Please don't be upset. And no interruptions. Agreed?
I know. Just go on.
Satoshi Ojo planned the murder of his aunt and executed it. And her. We have no proof, okay? It's all theoretical.
All right. I heard. Just keep talking.
I'll switch the subject now. Shion-san, you were forbidden from having a relationship with Satoshi, weren't you? They told you to stay away from him, correct? I believe the reason behind that is not that your family hated the Hojos, but that they didn't like the fact that you were involved with a murder suspect.
That is actually possible. After all, when I was pretending to be Mion, I already had a connection with Satoshi-kun. Before I knew it was Shion who was spending time around him. I could have been accused when I was helping out the Hinamizawa fighters if the relationship between the Hojos and Sonozakis was the problem. It wouldn't be difficult for the Sonozaki family to know that Satoshi-kun murdered his aunt, if it happened in Hinamizawa. Maybe one of them even saw the murder. The Sonozaki family didn't like I was in love with a murderer. They decided to step in.
Also, you're known not to give up easily, aren't you? Which means, even if the Sonozaki family threatened you or ripped out your nails, you still wouldn't cut ties with Satoshi, would you?
I couldn't deny that. I lost most of my means to access Hinamizawa, so my ties to Satoshi were essentially cut, true. But I still know Satoshi-kun's phone number, and I expected him to rejoin the Hinamizawa fighters eventually.
I believe your family knew that a few threats would never be enough for you to break ties with Satoshi. They could threaten you all they liked to no avail. So, their only option would be to do something about the other person, wouldn't it?
What do you mean, do something? What would they do? What? What?
If a threat to me was useless, then they'd do something about Satoshi. What would they have done? If they pulled something, then wouldn't that interrupt his path from the toy store to home? Toy store to home. Toy store to X to home. What's X? What is X? X marks the spot where his path was interrupted. But what interrupted it? Why couldn't Satoshi-kun make it home from the toy store if something interrupted him? Why? What's X? X? Guys, what's X?
Well,
Ran out of air, became a bit dizzy and collapsed. Floor felt cold. Felt no pain. I fall into the floor like a plastic doll. ACAB and the others rushed over to me and helped me up.
Calm down, Shion-san. We're not certain that Satoshi-kun was killed yet.
Still like how he's talking to her and doing all this, and she's still probably like, what, a 14-year-old girl?
Something
with
like that,
three
yeah.
ripped off nails.
Three
missing.
ripped off nail. It's been 3 days. She is probably still in severe pain in her left hand.
A missing not boyfriend.
Her family just tortured her. She tortured herself because of them. Her lover, boy toy, boyfriend, whatever you want to call him, is missing.
And she did all that for him.
Mm-hmm. ACAB, I question you a lot. You're not certain he was killed? What the fuck are you talking about? Don't you know that the torture room was where they forced me to rip off my fingernails? Don't you know that they say there are prison cells and a well for disposing of corpses in the back? If the Sonozaki family wants to eliminate somebody, they'll definitely kill them in that torture room and dump the body down there. You're not certain? Are you dumb? Is your brain made of tofu? If I were in the hag position, I'll kill him for sure. I wouldn't let him get away. If I would kill him, the hag would definitely kill him.
Shion-san, please calm down. This is unconfirmed, but I have information that someone witnessed a young runaway male at Nagoya Station, who took a train from there to Tokyo. Clothes didn't match, but it is possible that he changed what he was wearing to hide from the police. It's still possible that was him.
Is he alive? Is he?
This is also a theory, but let me go on. Your twin sister Mion-san is the closest person to Oryo Sonozaki, correct? I'm assuming that Mion-san stopped Oryo when she suggested murdering Satoshi furtively.
Mion? That was possible. She could have tried to calm things down out of pity for me. That idiot was always so indecisive. She should have been clear if she wanted to save him or not. She probably seemed vague about that. She must have persuaded the hag to reduce the punishment to banishment instead of death, just to avoid feeling guilty.
I believe that the Sonozaki family contacted Satoshi. They probably told him that they couldn't cover up the murder and told him to disappear somewhere far away. They forced him to be more accurate.
Satoshi-kun would have rejected that. He would never leave Satoko behind.
I agree with you. So Katoshi-kun was working at the places Mion referred him to, wasn't he? So the family knew that he had enough money for a getaway.
But he'd never use it for anything other than buying that teddy bear.
You're right. He must have gone straight to the toy store after he withdrew the money. But what if the teddy bear was already sold when he got there?
Would have been a very desolate situation. He'd been working hard. While his aunt abused him, he worked at many different jobs. Money was worth all that pain. He went to the toy store with the money in order to buy his beloved sister a present. That was the only purpose for that money. He must have looked for that teddy bear as he always done, but it was gone. He would have gone into a panic straight away, because he was always so optimistic. He might have thought the store was wrapping the gift for him because he told him he'd pick it up that day. He must have gone to the store joyously. Couldn't guess at exactly what happened next. My heart would tear up if I tried to imagine it anyway. Why didn't they have it, even though he had it reserved? Did that old man understand the situation, or was he just zoning out? Maybe it would have been the same even if it was the old man who was at the store at the time. A bunch of fierce-looking subordinates from the Sonozaki family went in and showed him the money. Nobody could have rejected it. Shoshika must have sunk into silence. No matter how hard he complained, Teddy Bear was gone. He probably never even considered that his dream might be taken away. He must have been wobbling his way home in sorrow, leaning on telephone poles every now and then. It was the day he wanted Satoko to be happy the most. He couldn't get the present she wanted the most. She probably didn't even think of getting another present, because it's unimaginable that he couldn't get that teddy bear.
Like, he probably could have, like, bought most of the other stuff in the shop with that much money.
Probably. I imagine how Stoka would have reacted when she found out he had no present for her. He must have looked unbelievably sad and empty. Money he'd been saving meant nothing anymore. Shushka never cried, even at his toughest moments. Did he even know how to cry?
The Wooby.
It's always Satoko who was crying. So Shushka never learned how to cry, and he grew up that way. Did you know? People should shed sadness from their hearts with tears.
People die when they're killed. They also shed sadness with tears.
Shushka wasn't allowed to do that, Flint, okay? Even though his heart was filled with sorrow. He couldn't let it out.
You insisted you wouldn't leave Satoko-san behind, didn't you? But think, what if the Sonozaki family told him that they'd look after her after his disappearance?
After Toshi found the teddy bear was gone, all he left were some crumbled bills. The family told him it was just a matter of time before the police got to him. They told him to run away. They said they'd take care of Satoko. Shoshi didn't feel like seeing her sister. He wandered and found himself at Okonomiya Station. He must have been apologizing to Satoko so many times and said he swore to come back someday. He headed to Nagoya and then Tokyo. But then that meant he's alive. He's alive. I should be able to see him again someday. He must be coming back, so I'll definitely see him again.
I assume that the Sonozaki family set up some place for him to stay. Satoshi must have gone there.
So, he's safe. He's coming back someday, right?
ACAB looked up at the ceiling and stretched. He didn't answer me. On June 24th, 1982, Satoshi Hojo went missing. There was a possibility that he ran away, as he was a prime suspect of a murder that happened on the 20th of that same month. Allegedly, someone resembling him was seen at Nagoya Station, embarking on a train heading to Tokyo, but the truth is unknown. No one has seen him since. As a matter of fact, no one even knows if he was still alive.
Wow.
Hey, maybe he'll come back when we see Keiichi. Maybe he'll just randomly come back. Yeah, I know. I just want
Train
to see
to
the good boy
Nowhere
again.
achievement. We got new tips. Notebook.
New tips.
Information that Satoshi might have headed to Tokyo hasn't been verified. Started as follows. A young man came to his lost and found window, looking for his wallet. The station employee asked him to write down his name on the form. Then the young man started writing Hojo as his name, but stopped in the middle, crumbled that form, and wrote a totally different name on another form. Another station employee witnessed a similar-looking young man rush into the train heading to Tokyo. Employee from the lost and found, an employee who was on the platform, talked about the suspicious young man in the locker room. That was all. The wallet of the man named Hojo was never reported as found to the lost and found office. At first, I thought ACAB's theory that the Sonozaki's family banished Satoshi from Hinamizawa and looked up to Stoko in return was bogus. But thinking about it now, it doesn't seem too far-fetched. After all, Satoko Hojo started living with Rika Furude after Satoshi-kun's disappearance. Rika Furude isn't just a regular girl. She's the head of the Furude family, one of the three families. The head of the Kimiyoshi family is Rika Furude's guardian. The Sonozaki family probably couldn't step in, due to have been officially opposed to the Hojo family. But Satoko Hojo is in the custody of the three families now. Even though the Hojo family was severely ostracized during the dam conflict, Satoko Hojo was now under protection. It seemed as though Satoko was exempted from blame. Why was she spared, even though Satoshi-kun wasn't?
Save.
Alright.
Oh, fuck.
You know, my mind's still reeling from what happened here.
Which part?
Alright.
Yes.
Good answer. Goddamn. Yeah. Oh, God. This is rough. This is rough as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is the roughest chapter to date.
Yeah, this is the roughest.
Yeah, so
part.
far, yeah. Hell yeah.
It's because of the good boy.
Oh. What do you think? Should we end here?
Sure.
I mean, it's up to y'all.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay.
It's getting late for y'all.
Alright, then we shall do that. Can't do this next week because a couple of us have things to do. I'll be out of town with my band, performing at
I'll be
Ohio
celebrating
Valley
my
Folk Festival.
sister's 21st birthday.
Yee. So yeah,
Bro.
we'll probably be back in November then. I should be good the week after
Yeah.
next.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
should be.
We'll continue this then, and I should be back tomorrow night for David DMing some pirates. Pirates. Hell yeah. So thank you all for joining us, and thank you again, David and Kayla, for going through this with me. We will someday figure out how to properly separate who's doing narration and shit.
No.
God damn.
No, we
yeah,
won't.
no, we won't. Fair enough.
Don't lie to yourself.
I know, I try. I wanna, but I can always have
You
hope.
never know.
I want
you're
to
the
have
one who would have
hope.
the most information, but we just don't know.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so this person's gonna be really active. Oh, you're not active at all. Okay.
Yep, not allowed. So I'm gonna send a raid to my friend Hierney, who plays Higgs with Metaverse Roleplay. Ebb and Flow still need to be his not therapist, but counselors. But he's doing some Metaverse gaming. So please send him some love for me. Here's my raid call. We love the blue star cowboy. But yeah. So until next time, you all stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. See you next time. Bye.
I'm a badass asexual polyhedral dice holder. I'm proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral dice holder. I'm proud to be in whatever sitch, like singing on Twitch or playing D&D. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral dice holder. You may call me obsessive, but I just border on being a collector and being a dragon that sits atop my treasure. That's so shiny. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral dice holder, and my partners love me for it. I'm a natural 20 when it comes to being me. I'm a time traveler, so Alonzi. I'm a